Hey, it's always nice to get a sunny day out here in Port McNeill, British Columbia. Summer has certainly arrived as we're here for the Orcafest and the loggersports competition, and we're getting all set for the women's single buck, where they're going to be sawing through 16 inches round of western white pine.
Sarah Russell from Port McNeill, BC, and I'm a registered nurse.
Hi, I'm Chantel Ryan. I live in Nanaimo and I work in sales.
As we head into the women's single buck, we're going to be showing you the top 6 competitors in 3 heats of 2. Now, the single buck for these relative newcomers, Chantel and Sarah, it's a difficult event. Rod, surely you remember years ago when you got started the single buck. How challenging is it?
Yeah, tough event to learn, Bill. It's there's a lot of technical ability in the single buck. And your angle of the saw, obviously the blade itself is going to carry a lot of weight. But your technique, really throwing your shoulders and your arms into that, pulling back, using the whole length of the saw. There's lots of things to remember when you start out. And of course, these girls are going to have a hard time remembering all that the first time out.
Well, you can see on the right-hand side, Chantel's using what looks to me is an older peg and raker saw, probably somebody's practice saw. Sarah has the advantage of probably using her husband's Nick's saw right there, and he's coaching her along the way. But certainly the saw on the left-hand side is dropping. The technique's a little bit better. As they drop down, should they not get a little bit closer to the log so they're in a little bit more of an angle?
Yeah, well, you want to be pulling into your armpit really the whole time. You want to keep a fairly steep angle in the single buck so you can use all your strength and your weight in that. Obviously, these ladies are a little bit shorter. They're not able to do that, but Sarah still putting up a good cut because she has, obviously, the superior saw. She's going to finish this off in about 47.3.
You're relatively new at single buck. What are some of the key things that you're being coached by Nick?
You know what? It's just take it slow and easy to start with. It's just keeping that angle and trying to get through the block. That was my first one in competition, so I'm pretty happy.
You started off, using just a small part of the blade to get yourself going and probably trying to lengthen your strokes as you went down?
Exactly. And it's just remembering in the middle to watch your cut. Just make sure you're watching that saw sink. And a couple times I pulled up and hung up a little bit, so that's something to work on.
Thank you.
Thanks, you're welcome.
My name's Anita Jazowski. I'm from Nanaimo, BC, and I'm a safety advisor.
Alita Rushton. I live in Port McNeill right now and I work in Port Hardy with Department of Fisheries.
Now, as we head into heat number 2 in the women's single buck, we have 4 competitors still to come, including this heat of Anita and Alita. We're looking to drop that time of 47.39.
That's right, and one thing you can improve on in the first heat is getting a longer stroke with that single buck. The biggest thing in that is using all the teeth. You paid $2,000 for it. You might as well use all the teeth.
Well, we've seen Anita Jazowski over the years in lumberjack competitions all over British Columbia. Alita Rushton, we saw her last year. She is the sister of Chantel Ryan, who just went, and you can see the experience paying off from last year's competition. But Anita is the class of the field right here.
No question. She's got a great angle. She's doing, she hung a raker there, but her technique is really well. You can see the steeper angle she has, using all of her weight, full strokes on this blade. She's actually doing everything right.
Yeah, she's a taller woman. She's able to get over. Look at that 45-degree angle. And Anita Jazowski wins the heat. Pretty good saw all the way down there, but you struggled at the end. Is that an endurance thing?
Not so much endurance as lack of practice. I just kind of sat down on the saw a bit, and so it hooked up a couple times. Need to do some training.
But sometimes just fatigue will allow you to forget about keeping it level.
That too, but I wasn't that tired, I promise.
My name's Sarah Mooney. I'm from Ucluelet, BC, and I'm a paramedic with the BC Ambulance Service.
Brenda Pouchnick, and I'm from Moscow, Idaho, and I'm a physical therapist.
Well, this is our feature heat. We certainly might get the winner out of this. You talked about Brenda at the top of the show, Rod. 23.30 is the time to beat by Anita. Set in the last heat, Brenda and Sarah. This would be a classic matchup.
That's right. 2 great single buck sawyers. Again, you always watch these people and you think, man, they should be at the top of the game. A lot of things factor into this. You don't know the behind-the-scenes story on a lot of this. Like Anita said, she hasn't practiced in a while. She's a great competitor. She's actually going on this, relying on her experience.
Now, Brenda struggles a little bit at the beginning there, but she's into it right now. Brenda is originally from Port Alberni, British Columbia. Another Islander, Sarah Mooney, from Ucluelet, BC. Both of them look like pretty even at this point. Looks like Derek is trying to hold on to the block here.
The block jump once Bill already on her. Her saw's cutting this wood phenomenally, but the block jump, you see it jump again on her. That's what's causing her problems here, but she's going to be down in 25.2.
Single bucking is tough enough. And then you'll find out you get to the bottom that the block is loose. How does that feel?
Well, it's hard when there's an equipment malfunction and you're trying really hard just to cut as hard as you can, and then all of a sudden it starts hanging up and you start correcting in your mind, what should I do, what should I do? But I'm like, I don't know why it's hanging up.
So we're going to get a decision, I guess, from the judges shortly to see if there's going to be a recut or not, right?
Yeah, I hope I do, because again, at least I have a good cut.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the women's single buck is now in the books out here in Port McNeill, British Columbia at the Logger Sports competition. Brenda, Anita, and Sarah leading the way.
Well, our crown pivotal point today focuses on Brenda Pouchnick. Sometimes equipment malfunction can actually lead to your benefit, as she does a recut in the single buck and takes first place with a 21.43 seconds.
And we're now 2/3 of the way through the competition here in Port McNeill, British Columbia, and we got a dog fight for second place. Pouchnick, McLeod, and Dowling battling it out.
And the You Find Fish Lumberjack of the Day focuses on none other than Brad DeLosa, taking first place in the Echo Stock Saw and showing his prowess in the axe events, winning the springboard.
Well, the field is starting to thin out just a little bit with Brad DeLosa still leading the way. Come back again next week here in Port McNeill for the exciting conclusion. We'll see if Brad can go wire to wire on Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. The new You Find Fish app. Fish with your phone. Minn Kota, anywhere, anytime.